up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. My body, my soul are part of a perfect whole. My heart and my hands are serving a sacred land. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all.
Transformed, and all is well, as we express Christ within. So we're going to do an opening song, and you might want to stand up. And, well, we used to throw some pennies out on the floor when we did this song, but we don't have to do that now. This is on page 179 of the Wings of Song book, which you might have some of in the seat in front of you. And if not, it's very repetitive. Love is something if you give it away. Number 179. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny. Hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor. For love is something if you give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Love is something if you give it away. You end up having more. Now look at your neighbor and sing it so you can give some of it away to them, right? Love is something if you give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Love is something if you give it away. You end up having more. It's just like a magic penny. Hold it tight and you won't have any. And it's spend it and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor. For love is something if you give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Love is something if you give it away. You end up having more. It's true.
Pennies to each other and try to not have any left. But now I'm hanging on to my pennies. My name's Ann Young, and it's my honor and pleasure to be your Sunday service leader to sort of guide us through the service this morning. We welcome you, those who are sitting here in the sanctuary, those who are joining us online in all the different formats that are available. We know that we're all together in spirit, so thank you for that. So I'm going to ask our guest speaker, Greg Barrette, to open our service with prayer.
Oh, let's just gather the energy together and know that we are aligned. We are aligned with the presence of God within. And we are guided and protected by God's love, wisdom, knowledge, and grace. The God consciousness within us helps us discover more about who we are. Thank you. Thank you, God, for the gift of spiritual intuition. And thank you for aligning us, conscious, subconscious, superconscious, aligning us. Thank you, God. It is so good to be here in unity, in love. Amen.
Thank you, Greg. So it is. Is there anyone here for the first time today? Hello. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Our prayer chaplain Dee is going to bring you a welcome packet. So we look forward to getting to know you a little bit better after the service. So anyone new on the formats, we welcome you too, and we hope you'll come back. So I want to actually introduce you to Greg. He's been here before. We feel like we know him, but his introduction is interesting. So he was born and raised in Unity and has been a Unity minister for 43 years. Formerly the director of the International Youth of Unity, Greg was elected president of 4 Unity regions, vice president of the International New Thought Alliance, and has led some of Unity's most successful ministries, including Unity of Delray Beach, Renaissance Unity in Warren, Michigan, and Unity of Overland Park, Kansas. He is a certified Healthy Congregations Facilitator. Greg currently teaches for the Center for Enlightenment and is a staff writer for the Daily Word magazine. So thanks for being with us. We're looking forward to hearing from you. So our prayer chaplain today is Dee Mitchell. Dee has been here half an hour before the service holding sacred space for us to get ready for the service, and she'll be here for half an hour afterward in this room off next to the kitchen. If you would like to meet with her for some individualized prayer, she'd be so happy to do that with you. We remember that prayer is an essential unity practice, and so we want to make sure that you all know you can get some prayer here today. So our stream team is basically Alejandro this morning. Thank you so much, Alejandro. And there's a special announcement from Alejandro. He is offering individualized audio video training using a one designed to honor the divine potential in each individual, providing Alejandro with the opportunity to deliver focused attention to each participant, enabling them to learn at their own pace and to truly understand and master the technology. So if you're interested, I'm going to give you a website and I'll write it down for you afterward. Yes. Oh, it's on the board. That's how you contact Drossel, that's his last name, .com. And let him know you're interested, and he'll get back with you and set up a time. So what an amazing gift we're receiving from Alejandro to receive this training in a format that's non-threatening. He's certainly going to be going at an individual pace, and we really appreciate that a lot. So let's see, who else do I want to introduce? Kathy DeWitt is our musician. I forget to introduce her because she's part of the family, but we're glad to have you with us today, Kathy, doing the music. So Rupali is the board member on duty out in the gathering room, keeping all the wheels turning so we can just relax and enjoy the service this morning. So another announcement coming up this coming Friday, July 14th at 7 p.m. is another sound healing service with Sam and Lucy. They came and did this before. They come and do music for us. They have wonderful energy, and the experience of coming in here on a Friday night and just bring a mat and lie down and just let go and just be transformed by the sounds and the music and the energy. It's really beautiful. So hope you can get there. A suggested offering is $20 at the door or whatever you can afford. For other announcements, stay connected with us on our website and or the weekly e-news that comes in your inbox on your email every Friday. And if you're not signed up for that, there's a sign up for weekly e-news button on the homepage. So now Bill Lang is going to come and read the daily word for us.
Power. I look within and discover my power. For we are what he has made us, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand to be our way of life. Ephesians 2:10. Great power lies within me, like a treasure chest full of gold and precious jewels, buried in my own backyard. It is so close that I sometimes overlook it, leading me to search near and far, seeking strength and value outside myself. Yet my power is in my potential, a gift for me to discover. I'm endowed with wisdom, love, and creativity, gemstones meant to be uncovered and shared with the world. I am rich in my capacity to use these gifts to reach goals and create my life with intentionality. As I think, speak, and behave in accordance with my divine abilities, I share my treasures. I bring into the light the hidden parts of myself, knowing my power comes from expressing my best self. I look within and discover my power.
I'm going to do another song that I think a lot of you can sing along with, so feel free to do that if you want, or you can just sit and listen to some of it and sing with some of it. It's a wonderful song by Daniel Nahmod. who I got to see at Unity Village a couple of weeks ago for the Posse Music Festival, and he was great. He was a big part of it, as you might imagine. But this is one of my favorites, and yours too, I'm sure, called Love Is My Decision. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
It's so good to be part of this community and to share with you. And I'm going to give you a little side story about Daniel Namod. He got into New Thought music kind of through the back door. A friend of mine had a church in suburban Chicago, and she told me the story. They were looking for somebody to do the music, and there was a college student who answered the ad. Had no background, no interest, no understanding, no history with New Thought, but Daniel Namod was hired, and he thought they were kind of weird. So he'd come in, and he'd do the music, and he'd leave the room and sit in the back where he could see, and have one of these windows in the back, and you could see in. He'd sit there and wait till the talk was over, and then he'd come back in, and he'd do the music. And he did it week after week and month after month. And after a while, my friend, the minister, said, well, he started coming in and sitting through the talk in the back. And then he started coming in and sitting through it in the front. And then he started writing. One Sunday, he needed some music, and he wrote a song. And one thing led to another and led to another. How did you find New Thought? How did you find this spiritual path? When did you make it real for you? What brought you into it? Just reflect right now. Was it, I'll tell you what, you got two choices. It was either inspiration or desperation. So it was inspiration. You were walking through the woods, or you were at a service, or you were meditating, or something happened and you felt so inspired and you went, I want more of this. And those are the lucky ones. Most of us, it's desperation. You had a diagnosis, or you had a 12-step issue and you went into a meeting, or you had a conflict, or there was some situation or a crisis in your life, and you were looking for answers. But whether it's inspiration or desperation, you made the choice of love. Love is your decision. Love is a soul choice. And you've made that choice. Reflect on it and realize that you've got three things that have to do with your spiritual path. One is your desire, the desire of your heart. And the second is the commitment that you make to that desire of your heart. And the third is the will that you back up, the commitment that you make to the desire of your heart day by day by day by day. And those are your practices. That is where it stops being just a profession, oh, I wish, or this makes me feel good, or I like this, to make it actually real for you. So, reflect on this and realize that every day of your life is a soul choice. And if love is the answer, and people say that, then what is the question? There is no question. There is only the choice. It's a decision you make day by day. So the desire of your heart, and everybody has a different way of framing the desire of their heart. You may say, I want to know God. You may say, I want to have peace of mind. You may say, I just like to hurt a little less. You might say, I want to be inspired. You might say, I want to get to know my whole self. Everybody's got different ways of putting it, but it's all the same desire, because it's the desire for love. It's the desire for the experience, not the belief. Oh, beliefs are cheap. Everybody's got a belief. It's the experience that comes when you make a commitment to the desire of your heart, and then you back it up with your will. So this love that we're talking about, that you decide on, that you desire with your whole being, well, what did Jesus said? Somebody said, well, what's the greatest of the commandments? And he was thinking of something in Leviticus, something in the 10 Commandments. One of the commandments, the commandments. And Jesus threw out a very minor one from Leviticus, and he said, well, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and you must love your neighbor as yourself. What did that mean? You know what? I didn't begin to understand the slightest bit about love until I realized that I didn't understand what love was. I didn't know. In fact, my prayer was, God, I don't know what love is. Show me. Show me. And especially with people. I don't know how to love this person. Show me how. And as a minister, sometimes you deal with people. And so somebody be standing in front of me, and I would just say, God, I don't know how to love this person. Show me how to love this person. And you know what? I'd get shown. If you have a desire in your heart and you back it up with commitment and will, you get answers. Most of the time you don't notice them, though. And you think, why am I just having to go through life and I'm not getting any help? And oh, poor me. And every time you ask, you get an answer. You just don't necessarily notice it. God, show me how to love this person. Another thing I would do with people is I would silently say, I am you. I am you. How am I you? On the level of the soul, on the level of the interior part of ourselves. Oh, I'm going to tell you something that's kind of goofy and cute. And that is that, okay, everybody here has eaten Hostess cupcakes. All the Hostess products. What are they? Twinkies, Ho-Hos, Ding-Dongs, cupcakes, orange cupcakes, all these different things, but there's one thing in common among them all. Well, the cream, C-R-E-M-E, filling in every one of these things. So, what does that have to do with what I'm talking about today? Each soul is a cream-filling delivery system, is a love delivery system. The soul, every personality is a soul delivery system. And just as the cream filling is in every Hostess, cupcake, Ho-Ho, Ding-Dong, Twinkie, there's the same in all of us, that essence that's in us, and we're just wrapped up differently. We've got different wrappings around us. Some of you and some of us are cupcakes, and some of us are snowballs, and I'm not going to say who's a ding-dong, but we all are the inside. In the inside, we're all the essence of love. You are the essence of love. I am the essence of love. Together, I am the essence of love. Love is all you are. Love is love. And yet, and I know there are days and moments where you say, I don't know even what love is. That's the best place to be, to not know what love is and to open up and ask, I want some help here. I want some help here. Come on, show me what love is. I want to experience it. And so when you're dealing with a difficult person, how do I love this person? I don't know how, but I'm willing. I don't know is the most powerful creative place that you can live from. I don't know is the powerful place of creation, because it opens up a space for that inner, the cream filling, the love to come forth. I don't know how to love. I am you. I am you. Another thing I do is just imagine a rainbow bridge from my heart to their heart. Just imagine it. These are little things you can do. The purpose of your evolution of your soul, and you are a soul in evolution, the purpose of the evolution of your soul is to unfold the love consciousness. But each one of us had made a decision not to love. Somewhere in our distant past, and if you believe like I do, that we've lived many lifetimes, it happened sometime in the past. I know somebody in here doesn't believe in that and probably didn't believe in it in your last life either. But that's okay. But just go with me here. There's a point at which our souls, our personality, one of our personality selves made the decision to build a wall around our hearts. We were disappointed, we were hurt, something happened. In the work that I've done spiritually, I've recognized that I'm a series of little eyes, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Each of these little eyes have a dot on the top of it, meaning they're a lowercase I. Little egos. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We go through, I don't know, hundreds? I don't know how it works. But I know this, that the work that I've done spiritually, I have recognized that I've carried the decisions from one lifetime into another, into another, into another. This is advanced stuff, but there's no downside to me sharing it. It's gonna land somewhere. So imagine the little eye with a dot on the top, one after another, after another, after another. And I have had the memory of 1,000 years ago getting hurt and saying to myself, I'm never going to trust again. I'm never going to love again. I'm going to trust in my intelligence. Yeah, I can be smarter than everybody else and protect myself. That can put a wall around my heart. Oh, I can have some will and have some power and some strength, and that'll put a wall around my heart. Does this resonate even in this lifetime? Oh, yeah, I can do that. I can manipulate my way with my cleverness and my intelligence and my will and my power, and I can do these things and put a wall around my heart. When I was a teenager, I was in a meditation group, and I've never shared this in a Sunday morning, so I'm just going to give you the first time. We'll see how that goes. But I went to a meditation group. I was guided in this meditation group, and the person who was leading it, the woman who was leading it, was energetically able to see what was going on with you energetically. And she said, your heart is blocked. Your heart is closed. I found that very disappointing because I was hoping I was a very advanced spiritual person in my meditation group. But my heart was blocked. I knew she was right. You're in this lifetime to open up your heart. And I worked and worked at it I worked at it by saying, I don't know how to love. Show me how to love. And I had the situations from desperation and inspiration, both challenging situations and inspiring situations that gave me the opportunity to dismantle the walls around my heart. Now, a couple of times ago, and I think last time I talked about Jane Elizabeth Hart, who wrote Spiritual Power Tools, Support for Your Soul. And you can get a free copy of this by going to centerforenlightenment.com and downloading it. But she, when I first got to know her, she sat down with me there in her living room and she said, you have a wall of concrete around your heart. I said, I've been working on letting it down, taking it down. She says, well, you've made progress, but we've got to do some work on this together, and I've got to come in through the back door, kind of sneak in to help you. And the work that I've done over the many years, and I've worked with her for 30 years. She's been my teacher. She was an executive at Unity headquarters for 10 years. And she's gathered around her in Tarpon Springs, where I live, about a dozen people, 3 Unity licensed teachers, 2 Silent Unity phone workers, a minister, a couple of board members from Unity churches, a YOU sponsor, a Unitine sponsor, all of us gathered together from different parts of the country, and we've all come together and we're doing this work. But the work that I have been doing for the last 30 years has been to open my heart, to take down the barriers of my heart, to get rid of this concrete wall that I thought would protect me. Have you ever, and you know what, from the ego standpoint, from the ho-ho ding-dong Twinkie standpoint, the outer shell standpoint, we think that we can protect ourselves from love, from being hurt. But ultimately, what are you protecting yourself from? Ultimately, you're only protecting yourself from yourself and from God. And when you realize that, you'll do whatever is necessary to take down the walls of your heart. To say in your times of meditation and prayer, come on, show me how to do this. Now, some of us come into this lifetime with our hearts wide open, and God bless you, more power to you. But some of us come in with our hearts open, but perhaps we made a decision in another time long ago to shut down our intelligence. Maybe we felt that we couldn't trust our intelligence. Maybe we couldn't trust our will, and we just were going to be dependent on people. So we're not all the same. But there are those of us, and we all, even if your heart is wide open, we all have more love that we can give. We all have more love that we can experience. And this experience of love moves us from the outer to the inner, from the material to the spiritual. Charles Fillmore said there's 2 kinds of love. There's material love, there's human love, and there's spiritual love, there's divine love. And he said that material human love is limited and limiting and selfish. And he said that spiritual, divine love is unlimited and it's harmonizing. And it's the principle of the universe. Now you say, well, human love's pretty good. I like human love. But it ultimately must blend and merge into the essence of our being and express as divine love. Otherwise, we try to go out in our outer worlds trying to manipulate things and get everything lined up the way our egos want it to protect ourselves. I remember James Dillett Freeman once saying to me, because there was a thing going on in Unity where people were trying to make some rules around something. I don't even remember what it was, but it was about 35 years ago. And he said, to the extent that there's love, you don't need the rules. He wasn't against having any rules, but it was like, to the extent that there's love, you don't need the outer rules. And to the extent that there isn't love, you need lots of outer rules to keep everything going. And he was basically looking at the ministers, all of us around ourselves and each other, that maybe we needed to love a little bit more and worry a little less about what the rules were. And so it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have rules or agreements or laws or whatever, but to the extent, St. Augustine, his famous aphorism, St. Augustine said, love and then do what you will. Love and then do what you will. You think, well, I'm going to do what I will. What am I going to do? I'll be selfish. Not with divine love. Divine love has its own intelligence. Divine love has its own will. Divine love has its own understanding. And divine love is intuitively understood and guided from within. Divine love is intuition. It comes through your intuition, not your intellect. Because just as there's two kinds of love, according to Fillmore, the spiritual divine love and the human limited love, so there's also two kinds of intelligence that correspond with these, and there's the two intelligences are the intellect and the intuition. Last time I was here, I talked about that. And so we're moving with our understanding that if you want to discern, experience, transmit, and be the love that you are inside, it must be intuitively expressed, not intellectually expressed. I came into this lifetime with a highly developed intellect and a little shrivelly heart. And I had to spend the last, since then it's been 50-something years of opening my heart and opening my heart and opening my heart. But I know that there's somebody in this room right now who's going, but how can I do this? How can I open my heart? What can I do to quicken and awaken and uncover this that I've built this wall around? And the beauty is that you've got to desire it. Then you commit, make a commitment. And then you use your will every day to use every experience in your life to unfold your love consciousness, to unfold the love that's in your heart. Every experience, especially those experiences that you want to get rid of. Every time somebody cuts me off on the interstate, on 75, it is an opportunity to choose love. Or the middle finger. One or the other. So, every day of our lives is an opportunity to choose love. And that unfoldment from within is a perfect expression of the divine potential that was placed in us at the beginning. And that divine potential, going back to my metaphor or my analogy of the eyes with a little dot on top from lifetime to lifetime, that higher consciousness, that higher love is a capital I. A capital I. Joel Goldsmith called it the I, the great I. The I consciousness, the I am consciousness, the I am presence within you. And there's only one way to access it, and that is to go within, to turn within. Okay, I'm going to get into some deep stuff here. Charles Fillmore taught a lot of things that didn't get into his books for the most part. Why? Because the books were written after he died. How could his books be written after he died? Well, because he only wrote a couple of books, but then his second wife, his widow, Cora, went with a friend of mine, Blaine Mays, who ran the International New Thought Alliance for years, and they went through all of his class notes, because he had typed class notes, and compiled these books, Mysteries of John, Mysteries of Genesis, several others. And in Mysteries of Genesis, they have one little line, which is just the tip of the iceberg from the things that Charles Fillmore taught, in which he said that the purpose of life is to evolve as a soul, to evolve in your love consciousness as a soul, from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, and then you reach a point at which you go, oh, I'm ready to make the leap into the fourth dimensional consciousness. He said the whole reason why we came here is to move from the third dimensional to the fourth dimensional consciousness, from the ego to the soul. And when we reach that point, we've had enough. We've decided, I want to have my next step in consciousness. He says you move from, in that moment, soul evolution to soul involution. Involution means turning within and developing the inner qualities and no longer adding on and adding on and adding on experiences and material things and thoughts and things. And you get to the point where you go, and I think I've shared this before. I call it the Peggy Lee consciousness, where she said, "Is that all there is? Is that all there is?" You're like the caterpillar that was crawling on the ground and just got so tired of eating leaves and crawling on the ground, and it stopped to rest and relaxed under a leaf, and then woke up and it was dark, and I'm turning into undifferentiated goo. What's going on with me? And in the chrysalis experience, the caterpillar, all of the cells detach from each other and reconfigure. Not a single cell is added. It's all the same cells in the butterfly. And when that caterpillar breaks out of this soul involutionary process, that is the fourth dimensional consciousness, the soul consciousness, the higher consciousness, the higher love, and it's expressing in and as you. And this will resonate to many of you. You've maybe had many experiences in life. You've found no matter how fulfilling they seem to be, third dimensional experiences only get you so far. It's the Peggy Lee, is that all there is? Is this what I came here for? And then you go, oh, I'm going to spend some time every day backing up the desire of my heart, my commitment, with my will. I'm going to spend a little bit of time every day to meditate, to go within. Do you meditate every day? Charles Fillmore said that a lot of us make the mistake of sporadic efforts. He says sporadic efforts amount to little. It must be consistent. So taking 5 minutes a day to meditate is far more valuable than saving it up all week and then taking an hour. You ever done that? Oh, I'll wait till Saturday, and then I'll meditate for an hour. And of course, A, you're not going to do it, and B, it doesn't really build that muscle in your soul. It's like exercising. You wouldn't wait for a week or two and then lift 50 weights. You do a little every day. And so take your meditation time every day, 5 minutes a day. I grew up with parents who were in Unity, and my dad would take his daily word. I would see him, and this was my entire childhood all the way until I moved out as a teenager. He would read his daily word every day for 15 minutes, but he wouldn't stop there. I would see him reading it. He'd be in the same spot. He had a meditation station. He was in the middle of the couch, but it was this place that he sat in. When he's watching TV, he sat in another chair, but nobody used that couch for any purpose. But he'd sit there. That was where he did his spiritual work. And he'd sit there, and I'd see him, and he would take whatever sentence he had read and take it inward, take it inward. And he did that 15 minutes a day. And after he retired, he decided to go deeper. He decided to make that 15 minutes a half an hour a day. And when he did, the migraines that he had suffered with his entire lifetime went away. For me, that was a demonstration. My dad was a demonstration of the persistence, the consistency of spiritual consciousness, of using the will to back up the desire of the heart. And his desire was for spiritual consciousness. My dad was, I'm going to share his passing. I don't know why, but I'm going to share his passing. My dad was diagnosed with cancer, and we were told that he would probably live about 6 months. And I came back from ministerial school. I didn't know he was sick, really sick. But when I got there, I realized, oh my gosh. And I was pretty shaken by it. And I remember that was at the beginning of the week. I was only there for a week. And they said he'd be alive for 6 months, but we should put him in they didn't have hospice in those days, but a place to take care of him. And we just had a feeling, no, keep him at home. Well, he left 6 days later, but the next day he had headaches, and we prayed, and they went away. And the next day he had headaches again, and I realized he's leaving us. And the doctor said it could be maybe a week now. So I sat down and I meditated, and I did spiritual work for him and did my affirmations for him. And I found myself standing up, walking over to his bookcase. I pulled out a book of his that I'd never seen. It was his meditation teacher, wrote it. And it was questions and answer on the spiritual path. I opened it up, and I opened it up to a page that said, "What do you do when your loved one is dying?" And the answer was, get into bed with them, tell them you love them, and give them permission to go because they may be holding on for you. And I realized, oh my gosh. So I went downstairs to my mom, and my mom could be a little bit crusty. So I was a little bit, I think you're going to think this is weird, but this is what happened. She says, no, I don't think it's weird. Let's get up there and do it. So we got into bed, and we held him, and we loved him, and we told him that we wanted to let him go. And I swear, he was transparent. And I don't know how else to put it. It isn't that he was invisible or anything like that. But spiritually speaking, his energy, his essence was transparent. You could see his soul. You could just see through his eyes. And here he was so weak, he could hardly talk. But there he was. And we said goodbye. And his last words were, I love you. And we said, I love you too. And he closed his eyes, and that was it. He had built that consciousness moment by moment, and he lived that love consciousness. My dad wasn't a saint. He wasn't perfect, but he was like all of us, a soul in evolution, moved to the point where he decided, I'm going to be a soul in involution, like Charles Fillmore said, and move inward and do my spiritual work and make that the priority of my life. That, the pearl of great price, Jesus talked about, that treasure in the field. That pearl of great price, the thing that you want more than anything else, that you'll sell everything else and you'll get that one thing. And that is what we're talking about here. A spiritual consciousness from within that is the essence of your being and is worth every effort. And so let's take this thought of the desire of your heart being love. If love is the answer, what is the question? And move into that answer within your heart. So just allow yourself to move into that heart space. And just move into your heart right now. And recognize that love is all you are. And that love consciousness in your heart is calling you to make a commitment to the truth of your being. To commit to the desire of your heart, to open your heart, to love. To love at all costs. It's worth every effort. And in your own way, your own silent words and language, express that commitment, that desire, silently, to quicken and awaken, to move inward. Love is the choice of my soul every day in the little things. The essence of my being, that which is within me and within everyone, is that love. My soul essence is pure love. My heart essence. My heart is the seat of the soul. And as I take my hand and I touch my heart, if you wish to do this, I'm making a decision to quicken and awaken the soul love consciousness that rests there, dynamically expresses as my heart. Love is my decision. I am the presence of pure being as love, immersed in love. And I acknowledge this love. And in divine love, I awaken in love. I quicken and awaken in love. Thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. Come back to the presence of this room. We feel ourselves in our chairs, aware of the light in the room, and we can open our eyes and know that we're welcome here. And if you're wondering what this is, I'll talk to you about it next time.
Well, that was wonderful. That was great. We'll do a song that was made up from some words that James Dillard Freeman wrote, a poem called God is Truth. Kind of a little musical punctuation for Greg's meditation. My friend Peter Sprague is playing guitar on this from California. Not working? Okay, well, let's see. Well, I might be able to do it a little differently. I never play this, but I asked God what is faith, and God replied, dear child, know I am walking by your side. I asked God what is prayer, and God said pray. As to what prayers you say, let your heart lead the way. I asked God what is God, and God was still. But in my heart I felt my soul begin to melt. Beyond all words and thought, my soul became one with the truth I sought. My heart, God's heart, my will, God's will, my love, God's love. God did not have to speak. God is the truth we find, whether or not we see. Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Kathy. What a beautiful interweaving happened here. We are so grateful. So at this time, we embrace the principle of giving as a spiritual practice. So you're invited to take your love offering in your hand or imagine it if you've already given online or in the mail or some other way. But let's just imagine prosperity and bless our gifts, knowing that as we give, our blessings are multiplied. Divine love expressed in me, through me, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So we don't pass around anything anymore, but there is a prosperity box available. Oh, technology. Point your camera phone and you can do it that way. Okay, so now let's give thanks for the continued growth and prosperity of our beautiful ministry. So hold these words in your heart as I read them. Unity of Gainesville, Florida is richly blessed and in the flow of universal abundance. We give thanks that just the right people with loving hearts and skills to help us grow are attracted to join us. We accept the good that enriches us and all with whom we have contact. We are prosperous. Say that with me. Prosperous, loving, and healthy. Joyfully co-creating an abundant life. Joyfully co-creating an abundant life, and so it is. So are we singing in children? Okay.
All right. Let's stand up and have some energy when they come in. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Unity of Gainesville? Unity of Gainesville, I'm gonna let it shine. Unity of Gainesville, I'm gonna let it shine. Unity of Gainesville, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, it's like
we made it. Thanks for singing 10 rounds of Little Light of Mine. We have a new fella that's not really new because he used to come when he was a little fella, right, Gabriel? This is my friend Gabriel. And he was like this, and now he's 13 years old. And Victoria's here, and Valerie, and Allie, and Blake, and Kenya. And today, we went back to Pondering Pond. And Allie, can you show them the foxes? She has hers. We had Big Brother Fox and Little Brother Fox. And they were going through the woods, and all of a sudden they realized they were lost. And it started getting dark. And they got so scared, and they thought they would never get back. And then Big Brother Fox said, Oh, I remember what Charles the Turtle told us. He said, if you ever need help, get real still and listen, and God will help you. So they got real still and they listened and they heard this beautiful music coming from Pondering Pond. And they said, oh, we can listen to the music and we can follow the music and get home. But in the meantime, fireflies showed up and helped them find their way. So they're taking home a jar of fireflies today.
So let's rub our hands together, get some energy going, and bless these children. These children and all the children that have ever been in this room and all the children all over the world. Children, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we see the Christ presence within you. We love you. We love you. We really, really love you. Mwah. So now let's join, make a circle, join hands or not, and sing the peace song and the prayer.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well.
Give to